So what happens when you're really seeing a spiritual energy, when you're seeing a ghost or what seems to be a spirit, someone that isn't of the living? What happens when you just see someone appear and you don't really know if they're alive, if they're human, or what? They weren't just there a minute ago, but you can see them now. That means that you are a seer. You are a visionary. It could also mean something else, but we're going to talk about that in this video. You are gifted, so stay tuned. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nicole Honore V, founder and CEO of Spiritual Guidance Academy, where we help you master your spiritual gifts, learn all about spiritual guidance, and how to hear from God. So before we get started, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, and ring that little bell so that you'll know when we come back over with more free spiritual guidance. So when you're a seer or a visionary, you're using not your human eyes, you're using your spiritual sight, your mind's eye, or your third eye. Where is that? It's right between your human eyes. It is your third eye, your spiritual sight, your sixth chakra, or your brow chakra. So how do you know you're a seer or a visionary? It's because you're seeing those energies that look like they are human, or you're seeing orbs, or you're seeing energy, what seems to be manifested into the third dimension that we call life. So you're able to see it initially through your spiritual sight, and it comes to you in the third dimension as you are alive and awake and well. Except the third dimension that science calls life defies this even happening. So let me back up a little bit. As a seer, you are actually accessing another dimension through your third eye. Let that sink in for a minute. A visionary is capable of seeing past this mortal dimension that science has already defined as the life we live. This third dimension is all definable. It is reasoned by human logic. It is measurable. It has an expiration date. What we see is energy. Energy doesn't die. And what we see doesn't survive in this third dimension that you're watching this video in. So a visionary or a seer is activating her or his third eye, your brow chakra, to see that vision that actually exists in another dimension. So that should explain to you that dimensions are fluid. It's not a cutoff. So when you're living in the third, and you are traveling through the fourth, which is a spiritual highway, to see that vision and connect with spiritual guidance, spiritual energy, and spiritually guided spiritual communication. SGSC. That's a term that you want to get used to. into the fifth dimension where it's all happening, the sixth, the seventh, and beyond. So when you awaken to this happening, you're no longer happy and comfortable in the third dimension because you are pulling from higher dimensions. You're seeing spiritual energies, you're seeing people that have ascended on, and you're seeing orbs. You're seeing energy fly by you in a streak of light. You're seeing blasts of light. You're seeing waves of light. You're seeing things come through the wall. You're seeing warped energy. You're seeing waves right before you. You're seeing all kinds of different forms, shapes, colors of energy, paranormal activity, while you're still living in this third dimension that we call life, and that defies human logic. So being a seer, a visionary, is not so definable by human logic. It is spiritual alchemy. Yet spirituality is our foundation for everything. So when you realize you're a seer or a visionary, you are breaking the mold that you were taught to live in. You have broken down this proverbial barrier, a wall that you were told never to go past. You were taught this other side of life that's happening at the same time of you living this third dimensional life. It exists. You're seeing it. But what do you do with it? You were taught not to go there. You were taught that if you open that door, you can never come back. If you open that door, you're going to be fooling around with energy you don't know about. You don't want to know about that. If you open that door, what door? So we'll talk about all of that terminology in another video. But just to give you some understanding, the door of using tools, spiritual tools, such as cards, crystals, such as your own intuition, such as the Holy Bible. That's a tool. So you have to really look at it for what it is. And when you're awakening to this reality of seeing energy, seeing someone stand in the doorway, going to your job and doing rounds as security, hearing sounds that you feel shouldn't be there or that weren't there just a minute ago, but now you're hearing footsteps and no one else should be there but you. Feeling the energy all over you, because you know that when that happens, a flush, waves of energy, shocking energy, electric energy, goosebumps rise all over your body. Prickles are all over your scalp. You feel SGSC, spiritually guided spiritual communication. And so when you're seeing these energies, you're hearing. You're also using other senses along with your spiritual sight. So when you're a visionary, you realize you've got a job to do. You're seeing energy for a reason. Some of us are naturals. We've been like this for as long as we can remember. And some of us are walking into this life that we've always been living, but we were taught to ignore it. And we were conditioned through human logic and reason to not open this proverbial door. Yet, if you're here watching me, you know that ignoring it is impossible. right? So what do you do with it? Well, spiritual superstar, you are waking up to your gifts to help not only yourself, but to help other people. You're one of the chosen. You didn't come here to ignore what God wants you to do. And no, you don't necessarily have to be appointed by someone else. You've already been chosen by the Most High. Those gifts are yours. And I know that that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to readily accept them or even claim them for that matter. Some people call spiritual gifts superpowers, special powers, because they've been taught that they're not okay. It's taboo. And there's judgment. There's criticizing around it. People have been made to feel uncomfortable because they've asked questions. They've shared their spiritual experiences of paranormal activity and have been shut down. People have forced exorcisms on people. People have been tortured. Oh, many things have happened throughout generations. Look at the witch hunt, the Renaissance period. Cultures, traditions, spiritual beliefs have been stomped out, tortured out of entire cultures and populations of people that no longer exist because of the harsh, barbaric practices, because they were seen as demonic or not of God, simply because they didn't fit a mold or a certain religious belief or understanding. So we could talk about that forever. As you can see, I'm quite passionate about it. But this video is for you, the seer, the visionary, to know that using your third eye is absolutely what you are supposed to do. So, if you've got children or if you plan on having children, you can bet that they are going to see the same thing. They're going to be aware of their spiritual sight. So I'm here to help you master those gifts and teach it to your legacy. Pass the information down and to make sure that it's not forgotten. There are different gifts, there are different arts, and there are different techniques that were passed down in my family, thankfully. And I believe we are to use those, that wisdom, that guidance, that is all spiritual, to help not only ourselves, but others. So, I hope that this video has helped you learn a little bit more about being a seer and a visionary and accessing your spiritual sight, your third eye, or your mind's eye, or your brow chakra. It is your sixth primary chakra. We have many. But it is your doorway to the spiritual realm. And we all have access to that door. I hope and pray that this has helped. Click that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget, hit that bell so you'll be notified when I come back over with more free spiritual guidance. I'm Nicole on Ravi. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you very soon.